Hello, so it's Kate and I'm making this video because I have reached 10 days, 10 for casual relief teaching, 10 individual jobs, I should say days is what I mean, 10 individual casual relief teaching days. I have done, and for me that's a little bit of a milestone, so I wanted to make a video about it. It's been good. I've learnt a fair bit, and with this 10 job mark, I would say I feel like I'm starting to get a good sense of what it's like and what to expect, and sort of a little bit getting the swing of it, I would say. I've mostly been to 2 schools in the area so far, and that's been really good because I've been getting relatively consistent work. One week I worked every day. It was a busy week, and so far I've had pretty much a steady stream of, I would say I'm expecting an average of 2 or 3 jobs a week, and that's what I'm aiming for personally. So things I've learnt, a whole range of little things. For example, always keep band-aids on you. I keep them in my pocket now because you never know when a kid, especially a young child, will need a band-aid, and their finger will start bleeding, or their knee will start bleeding, or just something like that, some kind of very minor thing. And it's usually at a point where you don't have easy access to a first aid kit. So and it was so handy because when I got that idea, it had not happened to me yet, and I thought, you know, I should really have band-aids on me just in case. And the day I had these in my pocket was the day 2 children needed band-aids, and they were like, oh, we need to get a band-aid. I was like, it's alright, I got you covered. And they're got little pictures on them, so the kids kind of dig that, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, so that's something very small. But other things are, some shifts are RFF, which means relief and face-to-face, which usually is a range of teachers get basically about an hour, less than an hour away from their class, usually just to plan and, I guess in a way, just sort of take a little break. And in that time, another teacher whose job it is to do RFF, they go around to that room and just teach for that short period where the normal teacher isn't there. So usually there's a teacher designated to that, and that's their job, is to do RFF. But I've had 3 RFF jobs so far, so the normal teacher who does that was away, and I would do that. And those are very interesting days because it is, I've said this to a few people, and it's particularly true with RFF, is that it's, imagine, this is what casual teaching's like, imagine being dropped into the classroom and being told, okay, do this, this, and this, okay, this is what they're learning, okay, go. And it's completely like that with RFF, The good thing is that usually you're not left alone for too long. That, you know, hour, less than an hour goes by pretty quickly most of the time, so it's not too bad. And another thing I've learnt is that if you're not sure what to do, or you just need to fill in some time, you want them to be calm, try playing a video and try to have some ideas ahead of time of what you want to show. So for example, something I fall back on a lot is there was this old Peter Rabbit TV show in the 90s that I grew up with, and that's perfect because I have yet to meet a child who has seen this show. Apparently there's a new version of Peter Rabbit with CG characters, and it's like a baby show. So the first time I ever mentioned, okay, we're gonna watch Peter Rabbit, there was like, oh, big groans, because these were like 10-year-old children. But then I started playing it, and it's like everybody got really quiet, and they were watching it, and they were quite into it, and it's great. And it's great for, so far I've seen all ages. I have yet, though, to have a year 5 and 6 class for the entire day. I've had year 5 and 6 for RFF, so only for an hour, but I've yet to have a full day with 5 and 6, and I know that's when the real challenge is going to be. Or not, who knows, like I might get a good group. That's the hardest thing too, is every class is different, and some are definitely better than others. It really comes down to usually just one or two children who are particularly disruptive. And sometimes there's more. Like in one class I had, the whole class was unsettled, but there was definitely like this one group of about 3 children who was so disruptive. Oh, and there was 2 more, so it was like 5 children. It was a horrible day, I must admit. They just kept not following directions, they're continuously off task, they were disturbing other students, etc, etc, etc. So that was very tough that day. But anyway, I've had some really, really good days. The worst situation I had was a child who found a stationery. Again, I can't actually divulge very much information specifics because of confidentiality, but a child in the class who was extremely disruptive found some stationery that was pointy, so it could be dangerous, and was trying to get attention by threatening other students with it and chasing them around and all this sort of stuff. And it was like, oh my gosh. That child got in big trouble, but that was one instance, the only instance where I realized in hindsight that I should have called the office. I should have called for backup, because they always say that to you as a casual teacher, that if you ever feel like you're out of your depth, you can call the office or you can call the assistant principal, and they will come down and they will talk to the class. You know, get them to settle down for you, because they know that, you know, you're a stranger, it's harder for you to get kids under control sometimes. So that was only that moment, really, that in hindsight, I was like, that was the time. That was the time I should have called, had someone come down immediately to handle this child, because it just made it too difficult. That was an RFF day, by the way, so I didn't have that child the whole day. I just had them for that hour, which was great. But yeah, definitely in hindsight, should have called someone. Should have called for backup. But yes, and I've been keeping logs. See, it's day 10 for every day. So and I always write down basically what happened, where I was, and what did I learn. And that's my big thing, is I'm trying to learn as much as I can every day. So I don't know, just a few things, like the Band-Aids thing I learned. Let's see. Always try to talk about my expectations at the start of the day, try to make some clear guidelines on what I expect, how to keep the class quiet. That is one of the most challenging things in the world, by the way, is how to get a class settled, quiet, and paying attention is easily one of the most difficult things in the history of the world. It can be so mind-numbingly difficult, because you can start out and you say, alright, settle down everyone, eyes and ears this way, paying attention now, and a fair few of them, yeah, a fair few of them will be sitting, they'll be looking at you, they'll be ready. But then there's a few at the back over there, you say, okay, settle down now, and maybe you know some of their names already, so that's super helpful. So, you know, I don't know, Jeremy, Sarah, made up names. Quiet now, and they'll look this way. But then this group over on the side starts talking. You kind of around and around, because then you gotta quiet this group, and then this group starts talking because they're waiting and they're impatient and they're children, and you're like, so it can be very, very hard sometimes to just get there. But that's definitely one of my biggest areas, is trying to get children to listen. But yeah, anyway, I should have reviewed this, but those are just some of the things that I've learned. I've learned quite a few things in my time. Oh dear. Hard thing too is there's a lot of like acronyms in education, there's a lot of acronyms, a lot of jargon that they didn't teach us at university. And so half the time people say like, oh, yeah, can you go down to the SEU unit? Oh, not in that unit, just the SEU, and take over for there. And I'm like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. And they look at me like when I have to ask, like, oh, what's that stand for? And they look at me like, huh? Oh, it means this. And I'm like, I feel stupid. Because I have not heard that yet, because I'm new. And this is a new thing that I'm doing. So let's see. Oh, also, when you're not sure of something, because like I said, sometimes you just get dropped into a classroom and you just gotta go. It is way better to, if you're not sure, just keep talking, waffle on, until you figure it out. Because if you're silent when you're giving instruction, like you might start giving instruction, but then you're silent because you're trying to figure out what the next thing is, don't do that. Because then they'll know. They'll know that you don't know what you're doing, and they'll take advantage. Let's see. Oh, and some of the hardest things is just like getting children to put their hand up and just wait. Don't call out. Do not call out. So many little voices want my attention. Enough. That's one of the biggest things. It's so hard for a child to even put their hand up. But then put their hand up and not call out. Because they just want to call out. But you're like, no, put your hand up and wait. And they're like, And that's hard, I get it, because there's a lot of children waiting for you, just one person's attention. And then you also have the child who can't wait and put their hand up and they'll just walk up to you. And you're trying to work with someone else, you're trying to help them at their desk. And this other child's coming up, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, go away, small child, and wait at your desk. I will be with you as soon as I can. Yeah, anyway, lots of little things like that happen all the time, and it's like, anyway, this is getting too long, so I better go. Thank you if you've been watching this entire time. I love you, and yeah, treat yourself well, have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.